Welcome to CrashMagic. In this video we've got a performance and a tutorial of a card trick that only needs 9 cards. It's really easy to learn and doesn't need any clever card handling, so it's a great beginner trick, but it's still a very strong and visual trick for the spectator. We have here then just 9 cards. We've got the 4, 5 and 7 of hearts, the 4, 5 and 7 of clubs, and the 4, 5 and 7 of diamonds. Now if you were here, I'd ask you at this point to choose any of the 3 suits, and this is an absolutely free choice. Let's just say though, for example, that you pick diamonds. I'd ask you to take the 3 diamond cards, mix them up, and then deal them into 3 piles. I'd then ask you to pick another suit. So let's say you choose hearts this time. Again, I'd ask you to mix the 3 cards up and to place 1 card onto each pile in any order that you like, and then if you could pick up the final 3 cards of whatever suit that would be, mix them up again, and again place 1 onto each pile any way that you like. I'd then ask you to pick up the 3 piles in any order that you like. So again, this is totally your free choice. You could pick these up in any order. So let's just say you pick this one, put that on top of there, and then these ones on top of there. And then if you could take the cards and give them a cut and complete the cut. Now if you could take the cards and deal them into 2 piles. And of course, because there's 9 cards, we end up with 5 cards in one pile and 4 in the other. Now if you could pick up the cards in either order, so you can put either pile on top of the other. Let's say you pick them up in this way, and then I'd ask you to cut the cards again and complete the cut, and then again deal the cards into 2 piles, and again pick the 2 piles up, placing them in either order. So you've chosen which cards to pick up and in which order. You've mixed all the cards, you've cut the cards, you've dealt them into piles and picked those up in any order that you've wanted to as well. So that's a lot of free choices that you've made, and any of those decisions could have been different. But now we're going to try something by spelling out the suits of the cards. So if you remember, all the cards were from the suits clubs, hearts and diamonds. We'll start with clubs and spell out club. C-L-U-B, club. Then heart, H-E-A-R-T. And finally D-I-A-M-O-N-D, diamond. And then if we spell out club again, C-L-U-B, H-E-A-R-T, that's heart, and diamond, D-I-A-M-O-N-D. Okay, that then just leaves us with 3 cards, these 3 cards here, which we can throw onto any of the piles. So the cards in these piles then were thoroughly dealt, cut and mixed by yourself, and you had many possibilities of which piles to place on which piles and the orders to pick those cards up in. But by spelling the suits of the cards, let's take a look what has happened. Start with this first pile then, and all the clubs are together, all the diamonds are together, and all the hearts are together. But it's not just the suits that we can do this with, we could do it with the values as well. Let's collect the cards back up, and we're going to make things a little bit quicker. So again, you can have control of the cards, but let's speed this up a little bit. First then, can you cut the cards anywhere that you like and complete the cut? And as before, could you now take the cards and deal them into 2 piles? Perfect. And as before, you can choose to pick up whichever pile and place it on top of the other one. Okay, now as I mentioned, we aren't dealing with suits as before. It's the values of the cards, and if you remember, we have the 4s, the 5s and the 7s. So let's begin by dealing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course, as before, we've just got 3 cards left. We can throw these down anywhere. So, before, when we spelt the suits, each of the 3 piles contained the 3 cards from that suit. Now though, we've spelt the values, and so here are all the 5s, here are all the 7s, so this must be all the 4s. That then was the trick, suits and values. If you liked it and want to learn it, this is the tutorial. It's another self-working card trick that's very simple to perform, and the spectator can do most of the card handling and decision making. To begin then, we just need the cards 4, 5 and 7 for the suits hearts, clubs and diamonds. It doesn't matter about the order of the 4, 5 and 7 in the piles, and it doesn't matter about which suit is where. We then start the trick by asking our spectator to pick up any of the 3 piles. It is an absolutely free choice, just as all the other choices that the spectator makes. Let's say they pick up the cards in this order, so hearts this time. They mix the 3 cards up as much as they like and deal them into 3 piles. They can then choose any other pile. Again, mix those 3 cards up and place 1 down on each of the piles. And exactly the same for the final suit, so diamonds in our example here. They can mix them up and throw these cards onto any pile that they like. You then ask your spectator to pick up these 3 piles, and again they can do that in any order. As long as they don't mix the cards up, they can pick the piles up and put them on top in any order that they like. You then ask them to cut the cards and complete the cut. They can cut the cards wherever they like. And then you ask them to take the cards and deal the cards into 2 piles. So of course, because we've got 9 cards, we end up with 5 cards in one pile, 4 cards in the other. And you ask them to put the 2 piles together, and again, absolutely free choice. They can pick the whichever pile they want and put it on top of the other one. Now you ask them to do the same again, so cut the cards again at any point, then pick up the cards and deal them into 2 piles again. And pick those 2 piles up in either order that they like. So with all the mixing and the random decisions the spectator has made, and the fact that they know you haven't been touching the cards, they are really going to think that these cards are now in an order no one could know. But now you're going to take the cards and spell out the suits in a particular way and in a particular order. We're going to spell club, heart and diamond without the S's at the end, and you need to know which end you're going to deal from. It doesn't matter which side, but as long as you know. So let's start with club. C L U B, and we take that final letter, that card, and place it into a pile. Then heart, H E A R T, and finally diamond, D I A M O N D, and again take the final letter, that card, and place it down the pile. Right, we're going to do the same again, but really important is we started dealing from this direction, So whichever direction we dealt in, we're now going to deal the opposite direction. So again with club, C, L, U, B. So this card then goes on this pile. Heart, H, E, A, R, T. This card then goes here. And diamond, D, I, A, M, O, N, D, and this card goes here. That is then going to leave us with 3 cards, and we're going to say to the spectator that we're just going to throw these cards down onto the piles. In actual fact, we need to deal them in the same order that we've just dealt. So the same order, the top card needs to go on this pile, this one on this one, and this card on here. But you want to do it in sort of a haphazard way so it looks random. You can then turn over the piles and show that each pile has a different suit. So that's the first revelation, and then the spectator thinks that's the end of the trick. But now you're going to go on to do the same with the values. So you're going to pick these 3 piles up, but what you need to do is, without the spectator realizing, is you need the values of these suits in the same order. So as the spectator's looking at this revelation, you need to be looking at the order of the cards in these piles. So here we can see these 2 piles have got the cards in the same order, so the easiest thing for us to do is to be able to switch these 2 cards to make this pile the same as well. Now the spectator at this point thinks that the trick is over, so the pressure is off here. So it's easy for you to just scoop up the cards, probably turn them face down is the best way, and obviously switch whichever cards you need to make these piles align. So rather than doing them face up like we've done here, so the spectator might notice that the cards are in the same order, best thing to do is to turn the cards over. So if we lay out these cards again as they were, so clubs and the hearts were the same in our scenario here, these cards were different, so we need to get these 2 cards switched round. Now as I say, the heat is totally off, the spectator thinks the trick is over, so we can gather the cards up. We know these 2 piles, the cards are in the same order, so just as we pick this pile up here, we can just switch these 2 cards over, and then once the cards are all face down, we can then start explaining to the spectator how we dealt all the cards out and they all came out in the suits order. But now we're going to do the same again with the values, so we can put the cards together in any order that we want, and it's a lot quicker this time. We just ask the spectator to cut the cards and complete the cut once, then ask them to deal the cards into 2 piles again, and then they can pick the 2 piles up in either order, either pile on each other. And then we're going to do pretty much the same as we did before, where we dealt the cards into 3 piles, spelling out the suits of the cards, but this time of course we're going to use the values of the cards, so 4, 5 and 7, and of course 4, 5 and 7 is the exact number of letters in the suits, club, heart, spades. So we're going to count the values then, starting with 4, so we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you put that 4th card down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put the 5th card down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and exactly the same as before, whichever order you deal the cards in first time around, you then need to deal in the opposite order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th card goes here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, it goes here, not underneath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. 7th card goes here, and exactly as before we need to deal these final 3 cards in the same order as we've just dealt, but in the trick you'll do it so it looks like it's random. So then, after reiterating all the shuffling and dealing that the spectator's done, you can of course reveal the 3 piles, and instead of all the suits you've now got all the values, all the 4s, all the 5s and all the 7s together in the 3 piles. Well, that is the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed that trick. If you did, like and subscribe. If you've got any comments, leave them down below, and see you soon.